guys have talked about the Final Four since, I don't know, middle of August. I think that first practice that we talked to you guys. To kind of be this close now, obviously still a couple of matches, but what does it feel like to finally reach this time of year?
Well, I think the season starts in January. So, I mean, we've been working to, win a national championship since then. And so, but, I actually feel this way for every round of the NCAA tournament, but it is a grind. The parity in our sport through this tournament has been really apparent, probably more than any other NCAA volleyball tournament, which is awesome for our sport that we're getting to that point. And so now it's who can execute on a given night. So we are excited, and we think we're ready to go.
You brought Maddie in the offseason and everything. What has she kind of brought to the team, and what's it like? What do you think it's like for her to go back to her former program and play there?
Yeah, we recruited Maddie out of high school. So she visited Creighton and I think was down to Penn State and Creighton. She'd have to affirm if that was right. So we knew her well and really liked her mentality even as a high schooler. She's a high energy kid. But I think the thing with Maddie is she's intense and after it, but is really a great teammate. And so, it's all pointed in a direction of like, how do I galvanize the people around me? I think, she's got great memories of her, she's a Penn State grad, so she's a Nittany Lion, and she's got great things to say about her experience at Penn State. And, I think there will be some awkwardness going back there, but I think, it should be fun for her also.
There's not many favors that teams get this time of year. You guys certainly have a tough path as well, reigning champs first time, and potentially Penn State. Just what do you have to say about the challenge here of this, next stop?
Yeah, I think once you get to this point, you're always playing a good team. So obviously Texas is a great team. The legacy that they have, Norris has talked about it in the postgame. This is a team that has always been in that final group of teams traditionally year in and year out. So, we know we'll be in for a dogfight. But, we're excited, and we believe that we're a pretty dang good team too.
But you guys have been in this position quite a few times over the last few years. What does it take to finally kick down the door or get to an Elite Eight or generally speaking, just win this time of year?
Well, I think the margins are small. So I think, first contacts for both teams are going to be imperative. And then when you get opportunities, you've got to put the ball down, and you can't give up too many unforced errors. I mean, it's not rocket science at this point. You'll have your scouting report. You'll have things that you do, but execution is going to be key.
What do you think that Ole Miss match did for you guys, just the way you guys had to battle in set one and then kind of blowing it open towards the end there?
Yeah, I think it was great for us because Ole Miss was a dang good team. They ran a different offense to some degree than we're used to seeing. We had to adjust, and I liked the fact, there were no other than the third set, obviously, but in the first two sets, there weren't big runs. You had to grind for every point. It wasn't about each team. It was a side-out game, maybe a chip away a point here or there, which is, I think, a great, I think that's great for us going into each of these upcoming matches with the idea that every point is valuable. You can't give up a run. And I was really impressed with Ole Miss. So, I thought they were a great team.
What kind of challenge do you have with Madison Skinner and trying to limit her?
Yeah, arguably the best player in college volleyball right now. So does it from all over the court. She's got a super fast arm, just an outstanding player. So, yeah, obviously containing her is going to be imperative. But the thing is they've got good pieces all over the place. So, it's how do you prepare to make sure that you don't get too focused one direction and you're prepared for all their players.
All things considered, the path you'd have to go through to get there, this group of girls, what would it mean for you to make it to, or I guess out of this weekend? What would it mean for you to make it to the Final Four?
Well, I think, you can't really focus on what it would mean. I think it's how do you get there. And again, it's playing every point like it's your last point. And that doesn't mean you're going to win every point, but it's executing at a high level, not giving points away. And again, those first contacts are going to be big. I think more of a learning. I think we learned a lot from last year. I think, we learned that we're in the mix, right? And I think that's half the battle to have success is to believe that you can win. So I think that helped us in that. And then I think we learned some things on, when it comes to crunch time, how do we have to perform? Are we going to go get it, or are we going to hope it happens? And so I think you saw that some on Friday night with the idea of like, we're going to go win this thing.
You talked about having that kind of assertiveness at end game since the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Do you draw anything from the 5 setters at Louisville, at Nebraska? Do you draw anything back from those, even though they were so long ago?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've worked on 5 setters in practice. We haven't had a 5 setter since then. So, and there's a decent chance those things could happen this weekend. So you try to put your team in the best place, but to a degree, you can't simulate that pressure. But, you try to make sure that they know what actions have to happen for us to have success in those scenarios.
Took a little advanced scouting trip to Louisville this past weekend, I believe. What was that like for you?
It still stings, I'm going to be honest. It was wonderful to be there. I thought both teams played really well. I don't think it was an issue that Louisville didn't play well. But the way that they lost, I'm not going to lie, it was hard. So, but super proud of Reese and her teammates and the coaching staff. And, obviously Louisville's a great team, and we wish them the best going forward.
You hope to go back?
To Louisville?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Anything else? All right, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.